Start off, you're gonna need 2 different yarn colors. I'm using blue and mango from Premier Yarns. This is a bulky 6-weight yarn. You're also going to use an H-millimeter crochet hook, which is a 5mm. If you want to use safety eyes, you can use small ones like these. I believe these are either 14 or 16mm eyes. You can definitely use felt eyes if you have small ones. The size of the eyes will vary from what you want to use, because you can also make this pattern with blanket yarn, which is bigger, so you might have to use like a 6mm hook. Just make adjustments as you see fit. This is what we're making today. This is Tiny Teri, and she is my free turtle pattern. Let's get started with, we make the head first, because from the shell we move on to the feet, and the head is attached as we're crocheting them in. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start by making a magic ring and placing 6 single crochet. Grab your tail, cinch it close. There we have row 1. 2, it's a sequence of 2 single crochet and an increase times 2. And there we have round 2. We should have a total of 8. If you need, I'll try and put on the screen the actual written pattern. If not, you can head over to my Instagram and grab it. You can save it to your posts, or for a minimal fee, you can get the pattern as a PDF over on my Etsy. If you need help with certain stitches like single crochets, inks, increases, decks, decreases, there are a bunch of tutorials on YouTube that can help you out with these. Round 3, it's a sequence of single crochet, increase times 4. Round 4, it's to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Round 5 is a sequence of 4 single crochets followed by a decrease, and we repeat that sequence 2 times to get a total of 10 stitches. Now you can use whichever way you like. If you want to use the regular decrease or invisible decrease, it's totally up to you. So now we should have something like this. It's funny that it reminds me of a gumdrop. If you place it like this, it kind of reminds me of a gumdrop. We're gonna pause here to add the safety eyes. The eye placement is just a suggestion to what I like. I'm gonna place one. I'm gonna try and use the same increases because those spaces tend to be a little bit bigger. And I am adding it between rows 2 and 3. In the pattern, it says that you can add them 4 or 5, but as I've been making Teri more and more, I kind of like the eyes to sit further up. You can repeat the same on the other side. So this is where I have my eye. I'm gonna place my other eye right here. I believe like straight across is the perfect distance to place them. Okay, so there we go. Now to continue, we finished row 5. Now we move on to row 6, which is a sequence of 3 single crochets followed by a decrease, and we repeat that twice. Round 7 is a sequence of 2 single crochets and a decrease, and we repeat that 2 times. We are going to now single crochet around. For round 8, 6 single crochets. And 6. Okay, now before we close our head, we're gonna add the stuffing. However, don't overstuff the head so that she doesn't tip forward. The other suggestion is if you find that you end up like on the side that's not, like it's not parallel to your head, just add a single crochet or 2, or take 1 out until you're right at the side. I'll explain in a little bit why we need to do this. You can obviously make it more round. You can stuff it a bit more, but I kind of like to lightly stuff. Place our hook. Now, fold, like pinch both sides, and then single crochet it closed with 3 single crochet. Here we have our head. Okay, now we can set the head aside, grab our shell color, and you'll be amazed how fast she works up. Once you get the head done, it's like boom, she's done. Okay, so we're gonna grab our shell color. Start with a magic ring. You can also use the chain 2 method. It doesn't change the outlook. You can chain 2, and in the first chain make 6 single crochets. We do use 6 single crochets. So this is round 1 of our shell. 6 single crochets in a magic ring. Round 2 is a repeat of 1 single crochet plus an increase around, and we do that 3 times to get a total of 9 single crochets. Round 3, it's 2 single crochets with an increase, and we repeat that sequence 3 times for a total of 12 stitches. Round 5, we have to single crochet around 8, so we have 18 single crochets. So now we're going to start round 6, which is our frill or shell edge. We're going to be working in the front loop of the previous round so that we can then use the back loop to attach our body and make our legs. It's very handy to place a stitch marker in the back loop only of the round so that we can find it easier afterwards. So let's make our first stitch, which is a single crochet. In the next stitch, we make 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, and in the next one, we're going to make a single crochet. Before we continue, let's put our stitch marker in the first back loop of the round. So we're gonna find it here. Kind of looks like a little shelf. All right, now we repeat this sequence a total of 6 times. We should get some little petals. We can call them little petals. So let's continue. Remember, everything is made in the front loop. Okay, so we have made our shell edge or our frill. The edging will be more predominant once we start adding the inside. For now, let's slip stitch into the first single crochet of that round and fasten off. Leave a little tail, leave a tail slightly longer because we're going to use that to secure our head once we're done single crocheting it in. Okay, so now we have this. Now we're going to grab our main color. I like to make a slip knot because it's more secure, at least in my opinion. I'll add my hook, tighten it, and right in that stitch where we have the stitch marker, we're going to insert our hook. Take out your stitch marker because we don't need it anymore. We're going to make a single crochet right in that first stitch. Make another single crochet in the next stitch. Now, we're going to start on our first leg, and we make the leg with a popcorn stitch. I have a tutorial on my YouTube that you can check it out, but let's make the popcorn stitch, which is 5 double crochets in the same stitch, but they're worked differently. So first popcorn stitch, and 5. We have 5 double crochets in our stitch. Slightly pull your hook, take it out, and in the first space just before the first double crochet, insert your hook, grab the working yarn, and pull through. Then continue to the next stitch, which is to make 3 single crochets over the next 3 stitches. Here we have another popcorn stitch. After we make that second popcorn stitch, we're going to make a single crochet in the next stitch, another single crochet, but here we're going to make a picot stitch. Picot stitch, again, I have a tutorial on my channel, but just as a refresher, it's chain 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to make a slip stitch. When you're making the chain, try and make it loosely so that it's easier to slip in your hook. So we make a slip stitch and then we continue to make another single crochet in the next stitch. So you should have something like this. This is our tail. Now, after that single crochet, we're going to make another popcorn stitch. After making that popcorn stitch, we're now going to make a single crochet in the next stitch, another single crochet, and another single crochet. And after those 3 single crochets, we're going to make a popcorn stitch, which is our 4th and final leg. So we just got done our last popcorn stitch. Grab your head, and if you noticed, when we single crocheted it shut, we have this little like lift curve here. I want it to face down against the shell and align it with the last 3 stitches of this shell. The first stitch of my head is on my hook. Insert your hook through both the head and the body, single crochet. Repeat for the second stitch, like that. And this is the final stitch of this round. Make sure that you have the shell tail on the outside so that you can use it later. And then, oops, pull up a loop and single crochet. Last round, we're going to decrease a round. We ended up with 18 stitches. Now, when we decrease a round, we're going to end up with 9 stitches. So, I'll meet you back up at the end. A little tip, when you're decreasing and you come up to where the tail is, make sure the tail is facing you. It's closer to you as you're making your decrease so that we can get the little tail in. Otherwise, it's just hidden inside the shell. Once you reach the end, fasten off. I like to slip stitch into that into that first stitch. You don't need to leave a tail that's long enough for you to sew this hole shut. I like to use whatever tails have been left over and stick them in there. I'm gonna add some polyfill. When you're adding your polyfill, this is like personal preference, but I like my little shell top to be slightly rounded. So you do have to play around with, you kind of have to like massage it so that you can get a nice rounded shell. If you want a pointier shell, just shape and stuff as needed. And then once you're done stuffing, just close it up using the remaining yarn tail. I like to do the cinch closure, and as I'm making each of the stitches, I just tug at it a little bit. This is especially helpful when working with chenille yarn because sometimes it catches on you, and by doing this, I don't have to do like a major pull at the end. Give the little limbs a tug like that, the little tail as well. Hide your end. I just literally just run it through to the other side. Add your yarn into a sewing needle, and now we're going to work on our turtle head so that it can be at an angle. Kind of like to squish it down a bit. This is why it's important to align the closure with your eyes. Again, if you want your little turtle to have like a happy, like a quirky little look to it, you can just leave it as is and then adjust as needed. Here we go. Let's sew it. I'm just going to use a couple of stitches, and I'm going to insert my hook through one of the stitches in the head, through the frill, and I'm gonna pull and then insert my sewing needle through, there we go, to the shell at the back. And I'm gonna see how much of a pull or angle I want. I think this is perfect. I'm gonna insert my needle through the next stitch. I'm going to pull through. If you want, you can flip your turtle over. Insert through the frill, and then through one of the stitches in front, in the head, just like that, and then pull a bit. Insert through the frill, through the shell, and all the way through the back. Give it a nice tight, oops, well, this is interesting. Let me pull my tail back. So I have this little thing here where I made a boo-boo. What I'm gonna do, and this is one of our secrets, I'm just going to hide it in one of the stitches. No harm, no foul. Squishy squish to our turtle top, and we just finished our tiny Teri turtle. You can very well grab some embroidery floss and add a little smile here if you want, but I just find it so cute just like that. Okay. Now that you have done your tiny Teri, you can attach the hardware to make a keychain right at the top. If you have some magnets, you can make it into a kissing turtle, and it'd be so cute because you can make a pair of them. Maybe if you were doing these same colors, make the other one where the body is blue and the shell is orange, and then add a magnet right around here so that when they get together, they kiss each other. That's all of my ideas that I have for this bitty turtle. Please tag me in all of your makes at Entre Tejidos Crochet. So it's at, you know, for the social media handle, at ENTRE.tejidos, which is TEJIDOS.crochet. I hope you love your tiny Teri turtle. Just look at that bitty little tail. And yeah, I hope to see you back soon in our next video or tutorial. Bye!